atheist, agnostic, or spiritual liberals are free thinking, but also to a great extent Christian liberals. Studies have shown that though about 92% of Americans believe in God, 50% of those believe in a judgmental or angry God, and 50% in a distant or benevolent God. And the second 50% are mostly liberals. Once a God who threatens a literal hell is off the table, then belief in God represents few theoretical barriers to free thinking. If God is as nice as many liberals believe, there's no great risk to believe in her at all. In fact, most of the people in this room will probably get through the pearly gates. I might even. I'm not sure. If there are pearly gates. Besides, almost any view of the universe involves a substantial leap of faith in these days when even the basic fabric of physics is unraveling. It's possible that there are 11 dimensions and infinite parallel universes, supermassive black holes where no known physics goes, and Schrodinger's quantum cat, both dead and alive at the same moment. It's like when the zookeeper saw a chimpanzee reading the Bible in one hand and Darwin's Origins of Species in the other hand. Why are you reading both books? Asked the zookeeper. Well, said the chimp, I'm trying to figure out whether I'm my brother's keeper or my keeper's brother. So the task becomes how not to be intimidated by the meaning that is, by the vast superstructure that buttresses the conservative argument, so that we free thinkers are free to imagine what could be. How do we get as free thinking as we can be? Friedrich Nietzsche's solution is in the following quote. Man suffers, he writes, but man suffers most from his inability to provide his suffering with meaning. Religion, morality, and philosophy attempt to alleviate this predicament. Religion promises an afterlife. Morality gives man guilt because punishment is easier to bear than meaningless pain. Philosophy speaks of ideal worlds to anesthetize man against the sting of existing in a non-ideal world. These retreats are humanity's revenge on life for their suffering. But they reject life. And for what? There is nothing else. They reject life for nothing. All those who cannot celebrate life in all its meaninglessness are nihilists. They would rather believe in nothing than in life. Nietzsche's idea of celebrating life in all its meaninglessness is a shocking paradox. To a great extent, Western civilization has taken its primary cosmic meanings, whether right or wrong, from Christianity. But many other explanations are competing for our meaning attention these days. For instance, just the other week, over 111 million Americans grew wildly happy or angrily sad when a person carrying a ball crossed a little white line. It was a Super Bowl. Humanity can pile gigantic amounts of meaning on what is essentially other people exercising. But I must say, hooray for the exercises of the Packers of Green Bay. Now you might say sports are pseudo tongue-in-cheek meaning. But if many people answered honestly, you'd have to admit that sports are their greatest happiness and most intense meaning. Sometimes I do. And from a free-thinking angle, it's almost an indisputable possibility that all life has no inherent meaning. This may mean that all human activity is, like sports, tongue-in-cheek behavior. We're trying mightily, but we know it may not have any cosmic meaning. Say la free thinking thee. It's like Vonnegut's story, because the entire history of the Earth turns out to be just a road map directing an alien spaceship as it travels to the other side of the universe. Pyramids meant for the aliens to turn left at the Andromeda Galaxy. All of World War II was just a fiery reminder for them to change their oil. But the flip side to this possible cosmic loneliness, this cosmic joke, is that it leaves us entirely free to create our own meanings about why we're here or not. Or we could choose what other people, what other religions have chosen. From this angle, each day we plow through a thick soup of meaninglessness, trying to leave meaning in our wake. And at each moment, a free thinker can choose to assign any amount of meaning or meaninglessness, or commitment, or non-commitment. Descartes assumed nothing was true unless it was true. We can go one better now, assume nothing is meaningful, even truth, even fact, even science, unless we alone, choose to assign meaning to it. And only at the moment. The meaningless meaning spectrum, showing these levels of meaning negation and affirmation, might look like the spectrum number 1 on your handout. I might have enough to go around. With each new phrase involving an increase in meaning. Okay. Now with all this freedom, existence sometimes becomes like Feline Kundera's book title, The Incredible Lightness of Being. We float about with infinite choice and flexibility. Though our meaning choices may be arbitrary, they nonetheless can be absolute. Gandhi called it satyagraha, heroically firm adherence to chosen truth. Humor is the most fun tool seen through the shadows of God, high fundamentalism. Liberals are masters of black humor. We see the gap between America's pretensions and reality all too clearly. For instance, liberal Vonnegut wrote a story about a planet where little green people with only one eye in the middle of their foreheads get food only by selling goods and services to other people. The planet ran out of customers. Nobody could think of anything intelligent to do about it, and all the little green people starved to death. Was Vonnegut predicting our present economic turmoil? But to really escape the pain of the free-thinking human condition, we need to be able to occasionally visit the total inanity of Groucho Marx. He says, Marx, these are my rock-solid principles. But if you don't like them, I have others. From an angle of meaninglessness, everything about life can be seen as funny, except perhaps your own or your loved one's suffering. History is replete with tragicomedy, from the assassination of that pompous peacock, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, catalyzing horrific World War II, to stupid Stalin's torturing a theoretical workers' paradise, and to a mass murder prison, and now fundamentalist Christians are fighting fundamentalist Muslims, partly over who controls the oil necessary to fuel fundamentalist capitalism. Still in the pitch black dark ages. A humor tragedy spectrum might look like spectrum number 2 on your handout.